All right, as you know, the electors meet in 6 days to decide who will be the next president of the United States. It's not a given. It usually reflects the vote in their individual states, and by that math, Donald Trump would be formally getting their nod next week. But John Podesta, who oversaw the Clinton campaign, wants those electors to see and get the latest information on a potential role on the part of the Russians hacking the election, and that they should be aware of that. Former New Mexico Governor and Secretary of the United States, incredible resume this fellow has, Bill Richardson. So, Governor, let me ask you a little bit about that, whether you think that is a good idea, that these electors, would be unprecedented, would meet, get an intelligence briefing, an update on this before they gather in 6 days.
Yeah, I think they should get that information. They've requested it. They're trying to be serious. Neil, they're serious questions about the Russians intervening in our electoral process. I mean, it's 17 of our intelligence agencies that have a budget of $70 billion a year concluded that there was Russian interference. Now, it's not going to change the outcome of the election. I think that Donald Trump won fair and square.
Then why
I consider him my president.
What are they going to be privy to that they don't know now or haven't read in the papers now?
Because it's a very legitimate issue, Neil, that a foreign country with Russia's power interfered in our election. I mean, the fact that they hacked the DNC computers, the WikiLeaks emails.
But you were saying then, go ahead, this information is out there. You don't think it will turn the results, but they should be aware of this information, I guess, to think twice about voting based on those results, right?
No. I think they legitimately, they're electors, they're very serious people. They have asked for this, and it's Republicans and Democrats information. They should get it from the head of national intelligence. I think it's good for the process. It's transparency. And, Neil, look, I mean, the Russians interfering in this election, that's unprecedented, that's wrong, that should carry some kind of penalty.
To the degree that it influenced the outcome of the election itself?
No. I think that Trump had enough votes in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, in Iowa, and the industrial states. But that's not the issue. The issue is interference in our electoral process by a country that has been very unfriendly to us, that has acted against our interests in Syria.
You're darn sure this is the case, because this is the same CIA, and I take no umbrage against citing them for making bad calls. We all make bad calls. That said in 2003 there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. The same CIA that said in 1998 that it was surprised by India having nuclear capability and then nuclear tests. The same CIA that said in 1990 the CIA was caught off guard when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait. The same CIA that missed 9/11. I mean, they have a track record like me on diets. I mean, why are we automatically assuming what they're saying is unequivocally true?
Well, because it's not just the CIA. It's 17 agencies. It's a national security agency, a State Department intelligence. Neil, this is not good that a president is
16 others, and there were about 13 others at the time in 2003.
Neil, it's not good that the President of the United States is belittling our intelligence agency. He is the main customer, and for him to trash our intelligence agencies is a very bad precedent. It's wrong, and, you know, the fact is the Russians did interfere.
But didn't Democrats trash these intelligence agencies when George Bush went to war based on a CIA claim and other agencies' claims that there were weapons of mass destruction? Then it was okay to go after Bush for that, because the information supported a view, in retrospect, that regrets over going to war. But now we're having it the other way around, and Donald Trump is saying, all right, it might be Russia, it might be China, it might be other entities. What's wrong with having doubts about a so-called consensus view that's been wrong, oftentimes, more often than not?
Because the CIA, our intelligence agencies, their mission is to provide unvarnished, nonpartisan information to our policymakers.
But unvarnished, they've gotten stuff wrong.
There's a dispute there, but there is no dispute on the Russia issue, Neil. You know that. The problem is that Donald Trump is just ignoring them. He's saying...
I'm not saying... I'm sticking my head in the sand here, but we had John Bolton here who says he is not surprised that a country or countries were trying to mess with our elections. He's not convinced it's Russia acting alone, though it could be, and if that's the case, to go after them, or that it could be China or a variety of other players. North Korea comes to mind because they have a record of tampering in other things and cyber threats to our country. I guess what I'm saying is this pell-mell rush, would you agree to the same rush, sir, if we had Hillary Clinton winning the election and the Trump folks were stating this, and we ought to explore Russia or any other country's role in the election? Would you be just as zealous?
Yeah. Yes, I would. And this is why I think it's important that the bipartisan Senate committee, John McCain, Lindsey Graham, Jack Reed, Democrats, Republicans, look into this, that the president ordered a national intelligence assessment of this issue. Let's look into it. Let's find out. But let's not trash our professionals in the intelligence agency, in the CIA, as President-elect Trump is doing.
I wish we had trashed it in 2001. I wish we'd trashed it in 2003. I wish we'd trashed it in 98. I wish we had trashed it ahead of the Bay of Pigs. I wish we had trashed it, or at least had the gumption to question consensus calls, right?
We did trash it. But right now, Neil, it is so obvious the Russians interfered.
It was so obvious that weapons of mass destruction were there. It was so obvious that a CIA plan to launch an attack on Cuba against Castro would work. It was so obvious that the Indians didn't have any nuclear capability until it was proven that they did. We learned that it's obvious after the fact. That's all I'm saying. I'm taking no sides here. I'd apply the same standard to whoever won.
Well, look, $70 billion we spend on all our intelligence agencies.
And I mentioned a half a dozen examples where it was wrong.
They're our best vehicle to know what's going on. And
you're
Donald
not even
Trump
entertaining the possibility that that data could be wrong, or at least not complete, or other countries could be involved. I'm not an apologist for Donald Trump.
So what's the alternative? What is Donald Trump saying?
You're gathering all the electors together to plant seeds of doubt and have them vote in a way.
He doesn't want to have intelligence briefings.
No. You don't even know what the results of that intelligence brief is. Let's say we found out that Russia was involved. Let's say we found out that Russia was involved. What do you want them to do? To not vote for Donald Trump because they now have intelligence that Russia was involved? What's the purpose of this?
No. The purpose is to find out what happened with the Russian involvement.
All right.
And
let's say Russia was involved. The electors know that Russia was involved. Do you want them to vote differently because they found out that Russia was involved?
They should vote their conscience? No, I don't think it's going to change the outcome. There's no reason why they can't ask for this information, because it's in the national interest that there be
I wonder if it's in Democrats' interest to deny the Republican who won the job.
That the Trump administration
Governor,
has.
It seems like it's in Democrats' interest to get the result they couldn't at the election by putting seeds of doubt in there that might be very well justified. But you're telling those electors, here's the latest intelligence we have, that Russia was behind hacking our election. You guys decide whether that can weigh on your conscience. That's what you're saying.
The electors themselves are asking for this probe.
Right. The electors get it. They get proof that Russia was involved. Are you then telling, or it should be in their conscience, to flip their vote?
They should vote their conscience, but I don't think it's going to change, and it shouldn't change the view. The numbers indicate that Donald Trump won the election. And I'm not disputing that. We just need to find out Russia's role, and there's too many close ties between the Trump people and Russia. That's all I'm saying.
Governor, thank you for expanding on that. We'll see. With 6 days before those electors meet. We'll have more after this.
All right.